welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we're going to be just very quickly discussing Below Deck Sailing On. There's really only two major points I want to talk about in this episode. So there won't be like a full thing, kind of what I've been doing. I only kind of want to talk about these two main points here. And again, I don't think this episode is going to be very long. Maybe only about 10 minutes or so. So it won't be too long. But yeah, let's just get into it. So the main topics I'm going to be talking about here, really and truly the main people I'm going to be talking about here is Emma and Cloyce. So let's get into it. Let's talk Emma first. So Emma, I like her. I think she's great. I think she's a hoot. But she's very inexperienced. As we know, she's only doing this for a year. And to see Gary actually get really frustrated that she doesn't even really know the basics and things that she should know. Things like, if I was in my job a year in, it's kind of the equivalent of me not knowing the basic court documents after a year, or the basic court, or not Windows court, this litigation process after a year. It's just not gonna fly, you know? And, but at this point, like, she should have a little more understanding, and kind of the main things that are kind of missteps for her is not tying the tender up properly. The tender has been through enough of a beating that it doesn't need to have more of a beating and basically be hitting up against the boat, and dinging up the boat. I can't remember if it dung up the yacht or the tender, but either way, like, it's not good. And that is a misstep on her part. And the thing that drives me a little bit nuts about her is the kind of like, well, I mean, this kind of, it's not really a big deal type situation, or, maybe he shouldn't get on me so hard, but you're making, I think, fairly amateur kind of mistakes. I don't want to say rookie because she kind of is a rookie, but it's like amateur mistakes. And it's like, you, that's kind of unacceptable at this point. And the other thing that happened, I think he said, like, to untie, I think he said the bow line, I believe, but she went to the opposite. She went to the stern instead of going to the bow, or vice versa, whichever way it was. And again, these are things that she should know, after a year of doing this. And Gary kind of makes like a point here of kind of being like, I think she thinks this was like party time, or she's not taking this seriously. And I don't think she is taking this seriously. I do believe that she thinks this is fun. And yes, it can be fun and whatever, but it's not just about the fun. You have a job to do, and you need to be doing it efficiently. And if you're not going to do it efficiently, then why are you here? Personally, as much as I like Emma and I think she's a hoot, I personally don't think she's gonna make it. I think if she keeps it the way she's going and she doesn't make improvements, she's getting fired. I hope not. I hope she can get her act together, but if she doesn't, she's gonna get fired. But that's basically that with Emma. Again, very quick. Let's spend a little more time with Cloyce. So Cloyce. Cloyce, again, if you remember, is our chef. Young. Maybe he has, I mean, there's only so much experience he can have because he's only 22. But, whatever. And he's really good at what he does. He does really well. There hasn't been really a single complaint about the food. But he's been doing a pretty good job with that. The things with him that kind of drive me a little nuts is, the first thing is this fascination or infatuation he seems to be having towards Daisy. And the thing is, it's like, my guy, she is who she is and you are who you are. And if you really think that, like, Daisy is not like She's not old by any means, but she's like 34 or 35, maybe even 36. And you're 22. Do you really think that Daisy's going to spend any time with you? I mean, Gary is closer to her age and she still wants nothing to do with him because he still has the maturity level of a 22-year-old. So it's just like, no, she's gonna go from Colin to you. I don't think so. And that kind of drives me a little bit nuts because I'm like, okay, have your crush or whatever, but it's like, come on, you gotta know. Anyway, that's besides the point though. Let's go back to the real reason that I am talking about Cloyce. And that is actually there's actually someone else I'm gonna talk about as well. We'll get to that in a minute. Cloyce Cloyce thinks he's doing a really like great job. And he thinks that he is. And he thinks that he works really hard because it's hard. And they're gonna be doing this kind of floaty thing out on the water for these guests. And the guests seem really nice too. And Clovis is like, oh, it'd be really fun to get out there and do that. Whose dumbass idea was it for Cloyce to leave the boat to do anything? Sir, you are the chef. You're not only chefing for these guests, but you're also chefing for the crew. What? And someone says, like, well, they're having lunch at 4 o'clock after they come back from whatever they're doing. Like, you're gonna have the food ready in time. And he says, oh, yeah, like, yeah, this is done, and I'm gonna put the salmon, and there's something other meat that he says he's gonna put in the oven. You're just leaving it in the oven to potentially dry out and overcook. What is going on? You know what I mean? So he gets to go on the excursion. I'm just like, what? And at first he gets away with it for maybe like, I'm gonna assume like an hour or so that he gets away with it. But at the same time, I'm thinking, okay, but the the guests aren't eating right now, but don't the crew have to eat? Like, what's going on? And they're talking. We kind of see like Daisy's kind of she was on break, but then she kind of comes back around, and we have see kind of Glenn is kind of walking around, kind of being like, the guests want to eat at 4 o'clock when they come back. It's getting close to that. It's about I don't know exactly what time it was, but maybe about an hour or so out from lunch, and he's looking around. He's like, where is Cloyce? Like, where is he at? And I think he's at over the walkie. And it was Gary who says, oh, he's outside. He's out there with the guests. And Glenn's like, what the fuck? He didn't say that. He says, what do you mean? What? Get him back here. Like, he's like, what is he thinking? He is not a guest. He is an employee. And as the employee who is chefing, you're supposed to be chefing and not canoodling with the guests. He's in so much trouble. So much trouble. I mean, I've never seen a chef walk away from chefing to go canoodle with the guests. I just never seen Marcus would have never. I miss him. Anyways, I'm fine, y'all. But anyway, I'm just like, what is happening? Again, it kind of he wants to be like, oh, I know I'm 22, but I have all this, you know, maturity or whatever. No, you don't. You've proven right here you don't. You've proven that you're more about the the trip, the vacation than anything else. Because doesn't he say something along the lines of, oh, breathing in Ibiza's air or something like that? Like, he wants, this is why he came. No, you came here to do a job, not to, you know, again, breathe in Ibiza's air and canoodle with the guests. Like, this is stupid. And he is acting like he is a guest. He's not acting like he is a paid employee. So bad. I don't think they're going to fire him. He's gonna get a warning. I don't think he'll do it again. Who knows though? So I think you'll be fine for now, but grow up, man. Anyway, that's it for Cloyce. Again, I said I was going to talk about this really quickly. And then because I thought, oh yeah, let's talk about that for a minute. But Danny, Danny, my girl, is a perfectionist, and she cries when things don't look right or go her way. In this case, she's crying about the decor of the table for dinner. She's pissing and moaning about doing cabins, which she doesn't want. But she's like Daisy says, like you were all doing cabins except for me. I'm not doing cabins, but everyone else is. Like you, this is your job. No one person's doing service or no one person is doing cabins or like housekeeping. They're doing both. So it's kind of ridiculous of that she thinks that she's not gonna have to like, but what she thinks pissing and moaning about doing cabins is going to accomplish. She's a spoiled brat, Danny is. And I think she needs to do a little bit of therapy to find out why she is such a flirt. Not that there's anything wrong with being a flirt, but I think she really does lead with her sexuality and her good looks. And that's a problem because you have so much more to offer than those two things. Those two things are fairly superficial. So I don't know, man. I don't dislike her. I do like her, to be totally honest, but I think like yikes. The other one, I can't remember her name right now. Oh, I think it's Deanna, right? She she's good at her job. She's pretty level headed. She gets it. She understands the assignment. But anyway, that's basically it though for Below Deck. Sailing Yacht was a decent episode. So we'll see what comes from the next one. But again, yes, that is it for this episode. So like I've said, we have caught up with Love is Blind. Really dedicated all the time to get through that episode that we have neglected all the other episodes. So we're going to be hopping in with the next episodes that we have to do. So I think with that being said, I'm going to head over to Golden Bachelorette and get through those episodes first, do the catch up, and then we'll decide where we're going to go from there. Again, Married at First Sight is one that's kind of been completely backburned at this point. Whether or not I'm going to be covering it, I haven't fully decided yet. I probably, at this point, I'm probably going to cover it as bonuses. But again, it's just not been really something that has been in the forefront for me. And honestly, I don't really know if I want to cover it. But we'll see how it goes. As time goes on with watching. I haven't even telling you guys straight up, I haven't even watched it. I don't know what's happening, if anything is happening. It's just the last season was really just, it really shit the bed, and I think they should have scrapped the entire season. That's just how I feel. But anyway. So yeah, Married at First Sight is still going to be taking a back burner to everything else at this point, just because I just don't have the motivation. So yes, anyways, Golden Bachelorette is the next thing that you can expect, and we'll get through that. And I think we're about 2 or 3 episodes behind with Golden Bachelorette. So yeah, that'll be all discussed in that episode. But anyways, that is it for this episode. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps, every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality T times 2 pod. We also have our email, which is at realityt times 2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there, and you can find me there at www.realityt times 2, all spelled out, dot podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Week Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube, and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.